Every track on the album has something for me.
Has some for you.
No, as in I've got something.
You've got something for every
I've
track.
got something for every single track.
This is going to be fun.
You're going first, by the way. Yes, you are.
No, I genuinely want to hold out.
Why?
Because I just want to.
No.
I think you should go first as the neutral.
It don't matter who goes
I think you should go first as the neutral.
No. I think it does.
No,
I think,
it doesn't.
I think it does matter.
No.
Because we've got to lead up to the main event of Peter, right?
Yeah, so I think you're the neutral.
No.
Pete, yeah, so you're the neutral.
Boys, let me produce. Let me produce, yeah? So if you want me to go first, cool.
Yeah.
But Peter has to go last.
All right, so you first, and then so you're the neutral, and then I'm gonna do what I personally think, and then it's showtime. When we get to Peter,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you produce. Because legit, yeah, where you go with this album, we might scrap today. Because if the truth don't come to light, we're scrapping on this, bro. I promise you.
What's going on, world? Welcome to episode 51 of the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast with your boys Peter, Mohammed,
Yo,
and myself, Yemi. We are back after a month-long hiatus, a lot longer than we wanted it to be, even though we weren't really planning on it being a hiatus, but such is life. But we're back, boys.
Yeah, man.
How we doing?
Bruv, I feel so good to be back, man.
Yeah?
It feels real good.
You sounding real crisp right there.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
You know what I mean? Sounding like velvet in that.
Said no one ever, but we move.
not entertaining it.
Not entertaining it at
You
all.
should have played that thing. That won't.
I'm not playing. See, just because we've got it doesn't mean we have to play it. For context, listeners, we are in a new recording location and we're looking at a mixer right now which has loads of different sound effects, like applause, like a like dead joke sort of thing.
A Dr. Umar Johnson one.
We don't have a Dr. Umar Johnson one.
Coming
but
soon.
No, it's
Absolutely
not.
not, man.
It's absolutely not.
We're not
coming
doing
soon.
that.
It's not coming soon. But shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. But yeah, we're back. Mohammed, how are you?
Hey man, chilling. You don't know, up and down, going through a bit of health things, but we move. Feeling good today though.
It's good. But at least you're here right now, man.
Do you know what I'm saying, fam? Look at the positives.
Yeah, man. It's good to look at you guys.
Yeah,
and
man.
pod.
It's been a minute, innit?
It's been a minute,
it's been
man.
different.
It has been a minute.
You ain't recording in so long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Saying I feel like I got writer's block. Then I remember I'm not a rapper.
I feel you. I feel like that intro, I thought I was going to stumble it because I hadn't done it in a while, but, you know, we move. Blessed with the talent, you know what I mean? But,
Yo, chat to your man.
Cause you two have started off so flagrant today.
What?
One man said velvet, another man's talking about talent. When did I become the
we were
normal
literally
one?
talking about,
When did I become the normal one?
we were talking about talent pre-pod and that's why I said it.
Hey man,
There we
I'm
go.
just saying, I become the normal one, innit?
There's nothing normal about you, but
Hey.
that's for another day.
That's for another day. But yes, thank you for patiently waiting for this latest episode. We do appreciate it. Thank you to our Spotify listeners. Thank you to our Apple Podcast listeners, our SoundCloud listeners, our YouTube listeners. Thank you for waiting. For new listeners, welcome aboard. You're going to hear a lot of wild opinions, a lot of dope chat, and general vibes from your boys here. So, you know, we welcome you. Hope you enjoy the ride. But yeah, I guess what we want to start off with is...
Yes, we do.
No.
Oh wait, sorry, I jumped.
Yeah,
I jumped.
you jumped the
Damn,
gun.
I jumped.
See,
Shit.
Yeah, listeners, he's very much aching to do this.
Jumped. Shit.
Because we're recording the day after the release of a certain album. We'll get to that in a bit. What we want to do first is, as we haven't recorded in a while, there's been a lot of, how do I say it? There've been a lot of traumatic and tragic events that have come through in hip hop recently. Most notably, the deaths of DMX, Black Rob, and Shock G of Digital Underground. So we would just want to take this time out just to wish them rest in peace and condolences to their families and stuff. You know, each of them titans of the game in their own right. DMX, just one of the GOATs. Black Rob, very underrated rapper. And Shock G, probably one of the funnest rappers to ever come out. So each of them had their imprint on the game and they'll be sorely missed. So rest in peace to all those three. You want to add anything, lads?
Yeah, nah, man. You summed it up perfectly, man. But yeah, that hit me. I think that was like that's the first. I cried at that, and that was like I didn't expect to. Yeah, I didn't expect to. I actually like shed a tear. So that was mad. But yeah, man, you summed it up perfectly, man. So just you know, love and condolences to all their families.
Yeah, X hit me hard as well because obviously we heard that he had his heart attack a few days before he passed. And I personally was like, okay, this is just another setback for him. He'll be back.
Yeah, X
right
was like a
as rain.
superhero, innit? That just survives.
And then when he actually passed, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
51 he was, and Black Rob was 52 or 53, I want to say. And Shock G was
Around about the same age.
around about the same age,
Yeah.
early mid 50s. So yeah, gone too soon. Hip hop, man, losing its legends
I'm telling you.
at an alarming rate. So yeah, man, shout out to everybody and rest in peace to those guys.
Yeah.
Now with that said,
Oh,
let's get on to the first topic.
let's get
And
on to it.
it's a doozy.
Look at this eager beaver, fam.
Don't ever at me, you. I don't even want to talk to you during this episode.
This guy's an eager beaver, fam.
Well, it is a special occasion. It's a special occasion. So basically, what we want to do now is talk about our boy. Well, one of our boys, Mohammed's boy,
Jermaine Lamarco.
one Jermaine Lamarco. Now, Jermaine Lamarco on May 7th, he basically popped up with a new song called Interlude as part of the rollout for his next album, The Off Season, which was dropping a week later. So we're recording on Saturday. So the Off Season dropped yesterday, Friday, May 14th. It is his 6th studio album, right?
I believe so, yeah.
6th studio
Yeah,
album.
66.
Follows his 2018 effort KOD. And yeah, it's arrived. Not much time to prepare because he announced it May 7th. He dropped it a week later. But the scene has been eagerly waiting anyway. We kind of anticipated that he was going to drop an album this year, but obviously we didn't know how far along he was done. But now it's arrived. It comes at just shy of 40 minutes. It's got features from the likes of 21 Savage, Lil Baby, Black, Baz, a guy called Moray. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing your name right. And yeah, production from the likes of Timbaland, Boy Wonder, Jake One, DJ Dahi, Frank Dukes, and J. Cole himself. But yeah, the moment's arrived, lads. We actually decided we were going to do this topic. We haven't spoken to each other about the album in any way, shape, or form other than maybe we've listened to it. Apart from one asinine comment from Peter saying he's listened to it, LOL.
One asinine comment.
Well, that's just the asinine comment from listening to the album.
This
anyway.
guy's just been flagrant this whole fucking week.
Basically, he has. Yes, he has made some interesting predictions. He thought he was going to be mid AF.
Wait, hold on. I can speak for myself.
Oh,
man.
sorry.
I'm gonna tell the listeners. I'm gonna tell the listeners
Right.
what I've been saying, and I'm gonna set it on my chest.
Please do.
I was anticipating a very mid album. I was saying it was going to be a mid album. I weren't looking forward to it. These men were like, oh, eagerly anticipated. Nah, I ain't been out here eagerly anticipating this album.
Feel you.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm going to say that.
I wasn't eagerly anticipating it either, but I did want it to be good.
I was eagerly anticipating the fuck out of this album.
Clearly. I mean, the passion is
Yeah, I was.
spilling out right now.
After the last two, I couldn't wait for this album.
I hear that. Well, now it's here. And for all intents and purposes, each of us basically represent 3 levels of J. Cole fandom. So for all intents and purposes, Mohammed is the J. Cole stan.
Not having that.
You are, but just play along.
You can't even reject that. You know you are.
I'm not though. If I've said his last 2 albums are whack, how am I a stan?
Okay.
You know what? I apologize.
So now, for all intents and purposes, Peter is the J. Cole hater.
No, he is the hater.
See,
Okay.
I'm not a hater.
So you've got a problem with it, but boy, I mean, you guys are close enough to those, you know what I mean? You're close enough in the spectrum. And me, I am the J. Cole neutral. So,
Leaning towards the hater.
I could go, nah.
I would say you're leaning towards hater.
Not really.
If
But,
he
I mean,
was,
that's your opinion.
if he was leaning towards one side, he's more. Remember Michael Jackson, Moonwalker, when he slid in.
Why can't I just be in the middle?
No, I would say Yemi's in the middle.
You think
There
so?
you go.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough.
There you go. But yeah, we're going to start in our album review of J. Cole's Off Season with myself, actually. So I put it on. It would have been, I think, like midday yesterday. I thought, okay, 39 minutes, because I didn't know how long it lasted. Let me just listen to it, get out of the way sort of thing. On first listen, I really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed it. I feel like he sounds hungrier. He sounds hungry. He sounds determined. He sounds like the J. Cole of old. He sounds like Mixtape Cole. Just with the way he delivers his rhymes. Beat selection is dope. I think his production game has stepped up like astronomically from the last album. Because there's a lot of tunes on here that he's produced that are just dope. Like, you can bump him in the whip. You can bump him in your house. Speakers up, full blast. Dope stuff. from front to back, I really enjoyed it first listen. I feel like lyrically he was just tap dancing over a lot of stuff. I think that intro, 95 South, fire. I think the Cameron introducing the album was a massive flex. Just on that song anyway, massive flex. I think the only song I didn't like was the song immediately after 95 South, which is Amari, and even like Interlude, which is what he released in anticipation for the album. Even though I didn't like it at first, it grew on me. I think within the context of the album, it made a lot more sense and it was perfectly placed for where it was. I feel like J. Cole, performance-wise, I give him an 8 or 9 out of 10. And the only reason why I'm not giving him a 10 out of 10 is because the singing and the auto-tune. I feel like him and auto-tune is not a good relationship. It's like, for anyone who's watched Blue Therapy, it's like Choma and John. No, Paul. That's his name, Paul. Just a bad relationship. Shouldn't be together. Never should have been together. That sort of thing. He should never sing he should never use auto-tune. If you want to sing, cool, but don't use the auto-tune because, nah. And I'm not sure if I'm a fan of like when he goes into like his double time flows. I think I prefer it when he just kind of slows it down, kind of rides the beat a lot more rather than trying to cram too many words into a bar.
That might be why you didn't like the second album song.
Yeah, because it kind of just popped out. And I think that's why I might not have liked Interlude as much because he tried that as well. I just feel like when he slows it down, he's a little bit more composed. Like on a song, like the longest song on the album, what was it called? Let me get it up. The one where he's talking about the Diddy line, with the Diddy line.
Let Go of My Hand?
Yes. And even the climb back. That kind of level Cole, that's dope. That's perfect. Like the beat, everything. So 21 Savage as well, he stole the show. I think that might be my favorite part of the album, his verse. I feel like that was a lot, like their song A Lot, that was on Savage's album. It sounds like the sequel. Sounds like the sequel. Sounds like part 2. And them two together are just like a match made in heaven for the most part, especially over that kind of soulful production. But yeah, man, I think this is a step up. I think this is his strongest album since, actually no, for me anyway, this is his strongest album.
Period.
Because a lot of people might say Forest Hills Drive, but I was never really here for Forest Hills Drive. I can't even lie. I think I preferred Born Sinner to Forest Hills Drive.
I think Born Sinner.
But this, okay, I don't want to say it blows it out of the water, but this is a massive step up from at least KOD, which I liked, and For Your Eyes Only, which was hell. So, you definitely got a shout out Cole for that. Like I said, he sounds way more determined. It sounds like he's trying to prove something. It sounds like he's back to the come up days where he's just trying to prove that he's the best rapper and he's the best MC. His pen, low key, getting better. The way he puts words together and the way he rhymes. Like he was spazzing on songs like Applying Pressure, and Punching the Clock. Didn't really care for 100 Mil with Baz. Pride as Devil was dope. I think his back-to-back with Little Baby was dope. Let Go of My Hand was dope. Hunger and Hillside. Yeah, man, it was dope, man. Like, and as I listened more and more, I realized that apart from a couple tunes, like this is a very, very solid album. Solid to great album. So I got a shout out Cole for that, man. Definitely, for sure. He definitely dropped a banger. One that is definitely replayable as well. Because that's the thing with Cole. I feel like a lot of his albums weren't always the most replayable, especially like something like, even though I like KOD, it's not something I always go back to. Just because there isn't really anything that really sticks out. Like you listen to it the first time and it's cool, but when you really deep it, are you really going to go back to certain things? But with this one, I could see myself easily going back to tunes like 95 South. Basically everything except for Amari and 100 Mil. Like, it's a near really good album. It's a really good album. It's a near perfect album for me. So yeah, that's
near perfect.
All right,
near perfect. It gave me everything I wanted from Cole, basically.
Fair enough.
The introspection, the bars, the fact that he's finally branched out to other production.
Still got T- on there though.
To be fair though, T- was doing his thing on this. It wasn't Middle Child that deadbeat. It was like actual like.
And really Middle Child was actually meant to be in the album. Funny enough,
this album.
Yeah, it was actually meant to be in this album, but
keep that, bro. That would have been that would have stuck out like a sore thumb.
It was actually Middle Child was meant to be on this, but it was a throwaway.
Middle Child is just so hollow, like production wise, and as far as what J. Cole's saying,
it wouldn't have fit.
Whereas, it's very much of that era. Whereas now, off season, this is a new era Cole. You can hear that in his bars. And T- did his thing. Timberland did his thing. The fact that he's actually branched out and got big names to actually help him produce. It probably even helped his production technique, because I feel like his production technique again has definitely gone up. So yeah, man, really like the album. Definitely replayable. I'll be going back to it a lot. So yeah, that's me as the neutral. We are now going to move on to the J. Cole Stan, Mohammed.
Can I just say I've always respected your opinion. I just want to get that out of the team. I've always respected your opinion. I've
Thank you,
always
bro.
held your opinion in a high regard.
Thank you.
And you show me why. So on this album, I've got a few thinkings on this album personally. I fuck with the album naturally. I think it's giving me what I wanted.
Of course you do.
Don't do that. I can't wait to get to you. But the reason why I think I like this album is because it gave me the EP feel, like the mixtape feel of Cole. If you look at a lot of the songs, he's only got maybe one verse in four or five of the songs, he's only got one verse and maybe a verse and a half. So Cole in this album to me came to bar. I don't think he came to do really anything else. I think other times he's tried to do too much. He tried to do the production, he tried to sing, he tried to do the auto-tune, he tried to rap, he tried to make songs that just, he's doing too much. I think KOD, he was thinking way too much. Whereas with the off-season, I think he took everything back. He stripped it all back. I was like, fuck it, let me just show these guys what I can do. And songs like, let me just go see it. And songs like Applying Pressure, you can see on the outro, this guy spent a minute and a half just talking about why he's on another level compared to everyone else.
That went on for way too long.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's an arrogance we've never seen. And I feel like he genuinely got offended of the way people were talking about KOD and For Your Eyes Only. And I think if it wasn't for KOD and For Your Eyes Only, we wouldn't have got such a bar-heavy album from Cole. It would have been along the lines of the 2014 Forest Hills, The Born Sinners, where it's not so much bar-heavy, but just like a story, an easy story to tell. I love 2014 Forest Hills, but it's not bar-heavy. A lot of the songs, no role models, Wet Dreams, it's a simple story, and it's very easy for him to do. KOD, I think the production went in too much for him. I think KOD, he leaned too much into the production, and that's why it went wrong. So I think with this album, he's given me what I wanted, which is, I don't care for the production too much. I just want to hear you rap. I became a fan of you because of the way you rap. And I feel like the features he chose was epic. I think the Little Baby...
Epic?
I think epic because of how it went.
Can you?
No, let him, because this guy, he chooses violence.
Fam, this
So
guy said epic.
So yes, I think, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because I would never have thought a Little Baby and Cole song work. You can't tell me they didn't go seamless the way he entered that song.
Definitely did.
It went seamless the way Baby... No, your brother's got a problem. But it went seamless. No, these lot can't see me. You're looking at me.
It's the comments.
No, he's looking at me as well, bro. Yeah. This guy's a dictator.
I can't look at you.
That's why I'm looking at the floor.
No, he's like this. He's just like this. Look.
That's why I'm looking at the floor.
Anyway,
I'm not trying to hear them.
Fam, you said the word epic.
Anyway, can I talk?
Sorry, go on.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyway, but yeah, I think the Little Baby verse came seamless. Him and 21 Savage is a weird one because I would never have pinned them two together before a lot. And I would never have got it. And I feel like, even 21 Savage, I feel like his bar stepped up a lot as well, which is crazy because I never looked at 21 Savage as someone like a bar.
He definitely got his bars up.
I feel like he got his bars up as well on this album. And I feel like you said, with the production, I feel like he needed to see a Timbo the way he works. So because I feel like with Cole, he's been in his own bubble of producing for so long that, you know, when you just don't see anything else, you're so tunnel visioned. So I think when he started to see how Timbo works and all the other producers, Boy Wonder, it kind of helped him as well. And I feel like I fucked with majority of the song. The Cam intro was amazing. There was no chorus on that song. He just gave us bars, which I loved. Then you go to Amari. I liked it. And the reason why I liked it is the flow switch up, the Westbrook bra. I think he gave me everything I wanted. So with me personally, it's definitely his best album since 2014 Forest Hills. Easily. After two songs, I could have told you it was better than KOD.
I mean, that's not difficult.
I didn't ask you for your opinion.
See, you're doing it again.
No, leave him. Because you know why I say, yeah, we know a hater when we see a hater. Because this guy's such a madman. He looked at you at the start and said, who's the hater? And look at him. All he's been doing
He tried to object being the hater.
And then all he's been doing is, all I said is, I like the Westbrook bar. Okay, then. I can't even like a bar without a comment.
He's a madman.
Yeah, this guy's petty. But like, yeah, man, even a lot of people don't clock. He sampled Damian Lillard in the song. So, you know, punching the clock. That was a Damian Lillard song. That sample he took, the intro of the Damian Lillard, talking about in the bubble. And I feel like it fit. And the reason why I feel like it fit, if you heard Damian Lillard in the bubble, he was like, yo, I didn't come to play. Do you get what I mean? And that fit the narrative of the album. Like, Damian Lillard didn't go to the bubble to play. Cole didn't come here to play. All he wants to do is show people why he's at upper echelon. And I feel like he done that. I feel like he proved why he's that top three. I feel like he's proved why he's on that level of the Kendrick, the Drake. I feel like he's shown why he's there. I feel like anyone that said him and Drake could go bar for bar, shut up.
Who said that?
Your brother.
Lyrically. Did you say that?
Yeah.
Exactly. I didn't. You know what's mad? I didn't even know he said it. Your brother's a hater.
Wow.
But
I think no. What I actually said was that I prefer Drake rapping to Cole.
Oh, fair enough.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like personally, me, I think he's the best album since 2014, Forest Hills. Everything you said, man, I feel like it went seamless, man. I think the features went seamless, the production. He didn't overdo anything. He didn't overtell a story. He didn't do none of that, man. He just brought it back to the essence of what it is. And one thing we need to get is how many songs was that album? Just off the head.
12.
Perfect. He didn't overdo it. No 18 song track, no 16 song track. Born Sinner was too long. 4 Years Only was trash. And KOD, I feel like there was a few extra songs in that. Do you get what I mean? And I feel like he always struggled with how many songs to have on that album. Because Cold War Silent Story had a lot of songs as well. So he's always struggled with what's the perfect balance. And I feel like this is finally it.
I kind of found that he'd found that balance after Born Sinner.
Nah, because I feel like KOD was, maybe it's because I thought KOD was whack that it felt long. But that just be because I didn't like it.
Well, KOD was 12 tracks as well, but it was a little bit longer.
It definitely wasn't 48 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, something like that. Maybe
exactly.
10 minutes or so.
Yeah,
longer.
so I just felt like it felt longer. And also, yeah, man, but he also said it when Cole was talking about it, he said a lot of these songs, no, they weren't written time ago, but the thought process was done a long time ago. So I feel like he's been thinking about making an album like this for a little while where it's just bar heavy. And I feel like he's at a place now where he's content in his career that he can do it.
Yeah, I think because he's been in the process of prepping for the Fall Off, which is supposedly his last album, I think he's been in that state of mind, which is why he's recorded a lot of these songs that appeared on this album as well.
And I feel like he's just in a place now where he's content with his career and I think he's just good.
So do you think when he's not focusing so much on the concept, like on a KOD,
It don't work.
he suffers for it?
It don't work. I don't think he could. I don't think this is not even trying to put Cole in the box. I don't think Cole can. When you try, I think because with Cole and KOD, he tried to produce, he tried to do a concept album, he tried to bar heavy. You can't do all of that.
He's doing too much.
You can't do all of that. You need to.
And something's always gonna suffer.
Yeah, and it's like either your production, because his production on KOD wasn't even bad. It's just it was all over the. Do you know what I mean? It didn't fit. So when you try to take on, imagine Kendrick try to take on everything by himself. A Good Kid, Mad City. Would we have got a Good Kid, Mad City?
Yeah, sometimes the rapper just has to rap.
Just rap.
Yeah.
Like, you're not at fault for asking for help. Getting a Timbo and a Boy Wonder, look what it's done for you. This is I'd say this is his most lauded album since 2014. I've never seen him get this kind of praise. I don't think people fucked with For Your Eyes Only and KOD at all. KOD seemed like it came and went. How long did we talk about KOD? It really did come and go. No one focused on KOD.
Still went platinum though.
But
that's the thing.
That's cold though, isn't it?
And that's the thing about Cole. Even though we're not necessarily talking
Interlude
about him,
went.
and as much of a divisive person he is, he's still very, very successful. So he's in that weird space where he can pretty much do what he wants. He's gonna be a divisive figure, but whatever he does, it's going to hit.
Yeah, but I feel like that's why we got this album, is because even though it did sell, Cole, his head's not underground. He knew the feedback that he got. He knew a lot of people weren't here for KOD. That's why this guy spent like a minute and a half telling people I'm better than you. Whenever we seen Cole that braggadocious?
Not since Mixtape Cole.
Exactly. I haven't seen Cole just braggadocious like that. Like, yo, you can't fuck with me. And I love it, bro. It's about time he's become brazen with it. And it's like, yo, when you just put pen to paper, there's not a lot of people that fuck with you. And it's about time people realize that. And I feel like now people are like, they get it. So personally, me, it's the best album since 2014 from His Hills. If I had to rank it just off the top, obviously I could look back and change my mind. I'll say Born Sinner is his best, and I'll say this might be second, but it's quick as well. It's only been a day, but it's definitely that Born Sinner Forest Hills echelon.
You're probably gonna like it more the more you listen to it.
Yeah. I feel like, bro, I've maybe like I dislike maybe one song. I like 100 M's. It's his most, the one I least like, but it's not hell. Do you get what I mean?
It's not necessarily hell, but it's just one of the weakest out of them.
Yeah.
That and Amari.
If I had to, I loved Amari personally. My Life was sick. Applying Pressure, Punching the Clock. I liked the whole the story with the Damian Lillard. Even the Pride is a Devil, and in the story he told when someone put a gun on him and the Pride got in his way. He said the same story on Two-Face in the Friday Night Lights mixtape. So it's even like they're pulling from that story and Friday Night Lights and bringing it back now and matching it with a song, bro.
That tune was serious.
Yeah, bro. And it's like, because I listened to Friday Night Lights and I recollected the story off Two-Face, and I'm like, yo, he told the story there, but then he brought it back here to relate it to that song. Bro, he left Earth, man. He left Earth. 100%. So, to me, I think it's a great album.
If you could change anything about the album, what would it be?
That's a good question. I'll get more verses.
from other people or from him?
From him.
Okay.
I feel like some songs where, I think there's like 3 songs where he literally just gave us one verse. So I'm like,
I wasn't mad at that though.
I'm just saying if I could change anything, I'll just maybe get an extra verse. But I'm not mad per se. But I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, less is more sometimes.
It works. When he does more, he gives us some songs we don't like.
And features wise, was there any other rappers that you would have preferred on some of the beats as opposed to the features that he selected?
No, I liked it because it's different. The 21 Savage and him, they've just got a thing where it works with a lot in this song. And I feel like you said it best. It really does seem like a sequel of the first song. And with the Baby one, the reason why I like the Baby one so much, I wasn't expecting it. Like I genuinely was listening to the album, and it's the way Baby slid in the song. I'm like, you know, when it's just the moment gets you, it's more the moment than anything else. It was the way Little Baby, and I went, whoa.
Yeah, it catches you off guard.
Bro, I had to literally have to rewind that. Go, no, we're coming back. We're coming back. Let's start it again. And it's just the way he slid into it, and I'm like, I like him, man, because it's like he doesn't. It's different. It's easy for Cole to get a barra. Do you know what I mean? It's easy for a Cole to get another Cole. Sometimes it's better to just get the 21 Savages and the Babies and show people it can work. I don't always want a Cole and a Kendrick or Cole and get a Boss or Cole and bro, not everyday rap. Sometimes give me a 21 Savage and a Little Baby on a song. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, when those two worlds meet, more often than not,
it's
always good.
Exactly. And I feel like with Cole especially, I love it, man. I like it when he does it. So personally, me, it might sound like I'm a stan, whatever. I think it's a great album. It's definitely his top 2, top 3. And by the end of it, it might be my favourite.
You're the stand today.
It definitely might end up my favourite just because the replay value in it is so good.
It's a lot.
Yeah, the replay value is amazing. Even if you don't like the song, you just go to his verse quick. The replay value in this album is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
And it's that mixtape feeling. That's literally what it gives me. It gives me a mixtape feel. It does not give me an album feel when I listen to it. I've been waiting for this as well since 2014.
That's a long time, man.
Do you know what I'm saying? As a fan.
Surprised you didn't give up on him.
Do you remember what I said before this album?
Yeah, I think we all were in that position as well.
Yeah, we said it.
If this didn't hit, it would be...
I said, bro, if he fails on this album, the conversation changes. And we will say that the day before he come out. If he flops on this album, I remember me and Ozzy and them were saying that, the conversation in Cole changes a lot. Omar said something funny. Omar goes, if Cole fails on this album, it's Arteta out, but Cole out. He goes, no, I'm done. He goes, it's Arteta out.
But how do you, because you're saying fail.
Not fail, but if it was a whack album.
According to who?
Myself. If I didn't personally fuck with it, then it would have been 3 in a row that I don't fuck with. Because I really don't like KOD.
Yeah, I think the rap game in general, if it was a bad album, the people who don't like him would just feel more empowered, but he'd still have his fans who'd probably be like, yeah, this is dope. So.
Yeah, exactly, because I feel like after Friday Night Lights, other than Forest Hill Drives, all these albums, there's still a group of people that like the other albums. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of, especially with Cole, it's always quite difficult to completely say, yo, this was trash, because there's always like, you know, a group of people that be like, no, you're bugging. This is amazing stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think Born Sinner was
what
meaty?
I didn't like Born Sinner. It was too long. And yeah, there was just more mid moments on the album than high. So
I don't think there's a universally trash J. Cole album, because
I think 4 Years only gets that. But then, you know, Ebro was like, Cole's got 4 classics in a row. So it's like, wow. I mean, I don't agree with him, obviously, but you're right, I guess. Who does? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because I was going to say 4 Years only, but Ebro and Rosenberg called it a classic.
Yeah, nah. But, you know, what do they know? But now to the main event.
Say that again. Don't
do that.
Come like WrestleMania.
After months of
WrestleMania 17.
J. Cole bashing.
WrestleMania 17.
After months of J. Cole critique. After months of smiling while critiquing J. Cole.
Months. Bro, when did we have Cole?
Cheesing and everything.
Months. When did we have Melo on the podcast and he shitted on Cole?
Oh, man, this was last year, I want to say.
Come on now, fam. This guy
or even the year before.
His anti-Cole agenda's been
and
running
and it even goes back to the episode with Rich. Shout out Rich. It was a whole topic.
This guy's anti-J. Cole agenda has been spewing.
But all of that has led to this moment. So now...
And the devil is alive, he says.
So now, Peter, in front of the whole world.
Oh, man.
Talk to me.
What did you think, as the J. Cole hater, what did you think of the off-season?
I'm going to scrap this guy if he says that.
No, I think positivity's coming. I have faith.
What did I think of the album? I've listened to the album 3 times. Unfortunately, I weren't really able to sit with it as long as I would have wanted to. You know, let me go through it track by track. and then I'll give my overall feel of the album. So 95 South, I thought the flow on the first verse was like, that was fucking top notch. That's the type of Cole that I love listening to. I'm like you, I don't really like the double time thing that he tries to do. Do you know what I mean? But I don't really like that generally. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really enjoyed that tune. I thought Cam being on the track was a bit.
I thought he was gonna love that.
Do you know? I thought it was awkward because I wouldn't pair them together.
I wouldn't pair them together.
I didn't, yeah, but I thought.
You know what I mean?
I know how much you like Cam.
Yeah, the tune itself, because I feel like they might have sampled Jay-Z. You don't know, innit?
He did sample Jay-Z.
So because that's like a sound reminiscent of early Rockefeller, it kind of makes sense for Cam to speak on that. So I can imagine like, so I understand why he got Cam on that. But typically I wouldn't put Cole and Cam together. So when I heard his voice, I was like, oh shit.
It made sense, but it didn't make sense.
Yeah, if it was anyone but Cole, I would have been like, yeah, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling Cam talking crazy. But because it was Cole, I was kind of like, I didn't know how to receive it. But that track though, I really liked it though, man. That was like a nice way to introduce the album. So I was like, all right, cool. This is what you're trying to do?
Okay.
All right, fam. Let's go, innit?
Look at him, good start.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, I like it. And then when I heard Little John's voice on it, I was a bit confused, but I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, this kind of works. Because he's from the South as well. So I was like, all right, yeah, no, this kind of works. So I was like, all right, cool. And then second track, Amari, I didn't like it. I know Timbaland produced it, so I was really disappointed.
Same.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you can keep that track. I've got nothing to say on that. I just don't like the track. And then My Life with 21 Savage and Moray, bruv, that tune made me feel like I want to go check out 21 Savage's music, because that verse that he dropped was sick to me. Like I really enjoyed it. And not to say that Cole's obviously the better rapper, but I just enjoyed 21 Savage's verse way more. It just hit me way more.
Yeah, his pen's definitely got better, bro.
But Cole floated on that though. Do you know what I mean? He went in, and I like Murray. I'd never heard of him before, but he did well on the hook.
21 has this ability, even if he's going up on a track with rappers that are better than him, of always stood in the show.
His ad-libs as well. He got the ad-libs on lock. He got his... I didn't know.
Definitely check out his last album.
Yeah, I'm gonna check him out because I haven't listened to anything really of 21 Savage. Maybe the A Lot song that him and Cole did. Yeah. But I'm not.
And he's from London.
Yeah.
Stop it. Can you stop doing that?
Can we say? Can we claim him?
No.
We can't claim one of us.
If he's not claiming us, why should we claim him?
We can't claim one of us. What do you mean, fam?
I think he's Nigerian though.
Is he Nige?
I think he's Nige. Yeah, because he practices a religion called Ifa, which is a traditional Yoruba religion.
Oh yeah, and his dad's meant to be someone. I don't know what it is, but his dad's meant to be someone in Atlanta.
But yeah, man, I like that song, man. Cole sounded very hungry. He sounds like he's got a point to prove. So I really enjoyed his rapping on that. And then Applying Pressure, which was self-produced, and I love the beat. So that was my first surprise, because I don't really like it when Cole produces for himself, but I really enjoyed that. I thought the beat was like quite simple, but really effective though. Do you know what I mean? So it was perfect for what he was doing, like flow wise, cadence wise, and rhyme wise. And I just thought the rhyming on that was world class, bruv. He was spazzing on that. Do you know what I mean? So we're at track 4,
world class,
and I'm feeling good about the album so far. Do you know what I mean? I'm feeling like, all right, cool, Cole. I think this is what I've been trying to like pull from you with my loud critique, because I'm not going to call it hate, because it's coming from a place of love. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool, track 4, I'm feeling it. And then Punching the Clock, track 5, which was produced by Tay Beast. I think he produces for TDE quite a lot. And I liked it. I liked the beat, and I enjoyed the storytelling on that. And I liked what Cole was doing on that. So that's another track that I enjoyed. So I was like, okay, cool, track 5, all right, cool. Then we get to 100 Mil with Baz.
I know what's coming.
And I just thought it was horrible, man.
Literally, look what I have here as well. I got a bar heavy, but it's meh.
Fam, I just thought that the whole tune was just horrible, bruv. Like, the rapping was cool, but nah. And it kind of felt like, and I don't, Cole doesn't really do this, and he probably doesn't even need to, but it kind of felt like it was an attempt at trying to be current to fit into the soundscape of what is prominent today. So I just weren't feeling it, man. So yeah, and I'm not with Cole with the melodic rapping. I'm just not. I'm not.
Is that
with,
the one when he goes with
it was really bad. Allow it,
yeah, no, keep that, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, nah. And then track 7, which was Pride is the Devil, with Little Baby. I thought I would like it, but I didn't.
You didn't like Pride is the Devil?
I didn't like it, bro.
Well, that's in my top 2, man, top 3.
I liked Little Baby's rapping on it, but there was just a feel for the track that I just wasn't connecting with me in it. So I just did not feel that tune. And then we go to Let Go of My Hand. And this is where I started getting a bit worried, and it kind of fell into like the critique that I always have for Cole, because that track was just boring for me, man. Like that beat was very typical of something that I would expect to hear on a J. Cole track, on a J. Cole album. So that even what he was talking about was cool, but the overall track I just did not like, man. Like let me not say I didn't like it, I was just indifferent with it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not a bad song, but I just weren't.
It's just whatever.
It just didn't do anything for me. You know what I mean? So I was a bit disappointed with that, because I saw Black, who's featured on it, and I like him a lot. So I thought, well, you know what, this might be interesting. But yeah, just not for me. And it was produced by T Minor, so that might make sense. That's still why I weren't really moved by it.
Full circle.
Yeah, and then the Interlude, which was the first song that was released from the album, but I hadn't listened to nothing.
Have you not listened to the Interlude?
Bro, nah.
Oh yeah, because you said you want to stay away.
You know
from
what?
everything.
Whenever it's an album, I don't like listening to songs singles, so I just wait till the album comes. So when I heard it, I was like, yo, this is fire, bruv.
I swear.
I love the Interlude, bruv. I loved it. I was like, oh shit. And I feel like I really enjoyed the bounce that it had. And Cole, I don't really know Cole for the bounce type thing. I know he was doing that on KOD and that, but I weren't really expecting it on this album. So when I got to that Interlude, I weren't expecting it. So I was like, yo, this is fire. I really like this.
Your boy produced that as well.
Who?
T Minus.
Oh, did he?
What, Interlude?
Yeah. Oh, that's surprising. And then we get to track 10, The Climb Back. That's my favourite song on the album. That everything about that song is excellence, bruv. Excellence. Like that first verse, that pocket that he found on that first verse, bruv. Oh my God.
Did you listen to The Climb Back before? Sorry.
No.
Okay.
No. Everything I heard on the album was the first time when I listened to the album. But yeah, when I listened to that track, I was like, oh my God, this is fucking phenomenal, bruv. That first verse though, like just the way he was, because I think the second verse he sped up. You know what I mean? So that's why I differentiate that from the first verse. But on that first verse, bruv, oh my God, like that's him rhyming perfectly, from flow to pronunciation to cadence to rhymes. Like that's the Cole that I love. That's what made me fall in love with him in the first place. Do you know what I mean? And just like, he was barring, man. He had a bar where he was like, address me like a goat, like they call Chief Keef Sosa. I was like, all right, yeah, man, talk that talk, fam. Because that's what I like. Do you know what I mean? That's what I always want from Cole, but I just don't really ever get it as often as I would like. And then we get to track 11, Close, which I really enjoyed as well. Got not too much to say about it. I just really enjoyed the track. And then the last song, Hunger on the Hill, which was produced by Boy Wonder. It took me a couple of listens, because the first time I wasn't sure. Like I knew it wasn't bad, but I didn't know if it was pulling anything from me at all. So I kind of felt indifferent. When I got to like the second or third listen, I was like, all right, yeah, no, I like this. This is a good song, man. So overall, bro, Cole done did it, man. It's a good album, bro.
Okay.
Cole done did it.
Okay.
He done did it, bro. No, it's a really good album, man.
Can we do that round of applause, please? I feel this fits. I feel like this fits a round of applause. This fits a round of applause.
Cole done did it, ladies and gentlemen.
It fits though.
Coming from the mouth of Peter. He done did it.
Yeah, no, bro, I really enjoyed this album, man. I really enjoyed it. Like, I'm looking forward to going back and listening to tracks. And it's been a while since I felt like that about any Cole album.
Pulled out the bag.
Yeah, he did it, man. It's a really good album, man. Really good. Like, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, man, I'm just happy that he's gotten to this point. You know, like I've been.
What do you think got him here?
I think the fact that he's on his way out. I think he probably was reflecting on like the legacy he's about to leave. And I think, yeah, he's still got a bit more to prove, and he kind of feels like he's on his way out. Let me just, you know what I mean? Like,
do you believe that he's on his way out though?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I think
because he's been flirting with that.
But all rappers do, isn't it?
This is what I mean.
But the whole fall off idea, he's been flirting with that for a minute.
But I feel like anyone that announces they're not long for the game, more often than not, aren't that not long for the game. If you see what I mean?
Yeah.
They always come back after max a couple of years. You know what I mean?
I think Cole's gonna be. I think after the fall off, I don't think we're gonna see Cole. I don't mean to cut you off. By the way.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see Cole every 3-4 years. Put it that way.
I think Cole.
I think we're gonna see very rarely after that. Like,
Yeah, I think
very, very
because of the type of rapper Cole is, I actually believe him. Like he's aloof anyway. He's off grid when he's not really doing music. Do you know what I mean? So
playing basketball.
you know what I'm saying? So
Rwanda.
yeah, so I believe him. Do you know what I mean? So it kind of makes sense. But yeah, I think he's still probably feeling like he's got a tad bit to remind people of and prove. I don't know why it's taken him so long to get to this point though. Like just as far as quality, because he's always had it in him. And like I know it sounds like you're all joking that, and I love getting onto Cole just because his fans are diehards. Like Cole, because Cole fans and Eminem fans are like the most enjoyable to wind up in it. And I'm a big Cole fan. I always have been. Do you know what I mean?
You're also a wind-up merchant.
Yeah, for sure. But the reason why I get onto him is because it's frustrating, bruv. Like, J. Cole is so frustrating because of how talented he is. I always say that, like, the position that Kendrick holds was initially his. I always felt that way. Like, for me, Cole was the one. Because before Kendrick came into the picture, it was Cole and Drake. Kendrick came out of nowhere sort of thing, innit? Do you know what I mean? So, like, when you see someone with that pool of talent that he's got, and he's like releasing mediocre music, and yeah, it's artistic expression, but for me, it's samey, it's boring, and it's just like dull. Do you know what I mean? And when you see someone that rhymes as like to a high level as him, it's just like, yo, bruv, like, come on.
But I think it goes back to Mo's point about him being too much in his head and trying to execute his own version of what he thinks his music should be, not necessarily taking in the signs that maybe he should branch out here, work with a producer here or work with an artist here sort of thing. He was very much on this road to just kind of do things by himself, which, depending on what side you're on, whether you're the stan or hater, it's either affected him greatly or affected him badly. So I think it goes back to that, like him being in too much control of his own narrative and not letting the reins off to someone else sort of thing.
And also, sorry, Mo, go on.
No, cool.
I think even with that, because he's got such a loyal fan base as well, and they support everything he does, him finding success in those mediocre moments hasn't helped. Because had he not been as successful as he had been with those mediocre albums, he would have felt like, yo, I got to step it up. But when you're successful, you don't always feel like, yo, I got to improve. You kind of feel like, you know what, no, I'm doing sick.
Yeah, justified.
This thing just, do you know what I mean? So
you're definitely justified.
Do you know what's weird though? I don't think this is an album for. This is definitely not the album for a mainstream artist. I think this is a weird album, if that makes sense.
But I don't think Cole makes albums for the mainstream though.
Forest Hills was definitely a mainstream album. 1,000% it was.
How so?
Wet Dreams.
What was the single?
No role models. Wet Dreams, bro. They're raw.
They don't sound like typical singles, bro.
But this is so different. You can't pick out a single with this album. To me, Interlude is not a single.
It just goes down to how accessible an album sounds. Obviously, Forest Hills sounds a lot more accessible than this.
This is
especially in terms of subject matter and stuff. Hello, apparently, like those are tunes that
it's very easy to sell.
Yeah, they could play on radio.
Yeah,
for instance, and I'm sure they did. Whereas a tune on this album, any of the tunes on this album, maybe not so much. Bar
the Little Baby and maybe the 21 Savage one, I can't see. I think this is one of my favorite Cole albums, but I think it's in a mainstream way so hard to place, if you get what I mean. Like, I don't know if your everyday J. Cole fan's gonna like the album. I think we like it, and I feel like the mellows and the means of the world like it because we appreciate maybe the bar heaviness in it. But the everyday Cole fan, I don't know if they're gonna fuck with this album.
Really?
Yeah, because the everyday Cole fan don't look at bars like that. Because where did the everyday Cole fan come from? Silent Story, right?
Would you say so?
I think Cole leapfrogged everyone come Silent Story. He didn't. He had fans, but Silent Story definitely took him to Workout put him on another pedestal. That's where J. Cole started selling out O2 arenas and stuff like that. So I don't know if they're gonna appreciate this album the way maybe we do. Because I don't think he's looking at. I genuinely think this one he's just placating to people that appreciate J. Cole for rapping.
But I also feel like J. Cole's mainstream whatever he does. Yeah. I think he's in this same spot as Kendrick to where whatever he drops, the mainstream are going to feel it regardless. So he's in a nice position that way. Whether the music sounds accessible or quote unquote mainstream is another thing. But whenever he drops, people know about it. The game knows about it, sort of thing. So in that respect, he's kind of almost transcended the usual parameters of having to be mainstream, i.e. dropping a pop track or a radio hit or whatever. He's in a position now where he doesn't need to do that, and whatever he does will pretty much turn to gold when it comes to charting, when it comes to radio play, all that stuff as well. So he's in a nice spot.
But I don't know if they're going to like it. It's so hard to explain. J. Cole's going to sell no matter what. I just don't know if
the core are going to like it.
I think
that's quite surprising, man.
I don't know if they're going to.
Did they like KOD?
I think they're not going to rank it as highly as we do.
So what will stop it from being ranked higher?
I think the everyday rap fans are going to love it because of the bar heaviness. I'm saying I don't know if everyday Cole fans look at that, if that makes sense.
That's fine, but on this, sorry.
But I might be wrong. But I'm just saying I don't know. This is the most bar heavy Cole's been in that album to me.
But that's not what makes this album so good though, because like for all my Cole critique, man, like his levels of rhyming is never suffered. So that's not it. It's just there's a feel for this. Because I was saying to my boy Freddie on the way back from Bristol that like even though there are moments on a lot of songs that I may not have enjoyed, there's a feel in this album that is a bit more important than some of the music on it. And that's what sometimes can attribute an album to being really good. And the reference to that is on Illmatic, for instance, yeah, I don't ever hear anyone saying, yo, I'm going to listen to One Time for Your Mind.
True.
But it fits in perfectly because of the feel for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So even though there are moments on this album that I don't enjoy it,
fits
the feel. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's just, I think this is it's so hard to explain. I think it's a weird kind of album.
So ultimately, you think this is going to divide Cole fans?
I think, I personally wouldn't say a lot of Cole fans are going to fuck with it.
I mean, as the Cole correspondent, like, how did they?
This is
No, you're
this is not BBC News, bro.
No,
this is not BBC News.
This is BBC News.
This is not BBC News.
This is reporting live from Fayetteville.
That's it.
What did the Cole fans think of KOD?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel. Oh no, I think a lot. I think a lot. No, I think Cole fans liked KOD. I think a lot of Cole fans were in denial about KOD.
Why would they not like this one then?
It's not that I don't think they're gonna like it. I just think they're gonna be. Do you know how we're passionately put it this way? Do you know how we passionately love it? I don't know if they're gonna be the same.
So it's a thing of you didn't give me what I wanted.
Yeah, I don't think the way we love it. I don't know if you're everyday Cole fan, which I guess we don't care about because we know what we like and we know what your everyday rap fans like, and we know. Not saying every Cole fan, but like, bro, I've gone to Cole concerts and I've seen Cole fans. You can't tell me half of them. Like, true story. Me and Mia went to a Cole concert. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. There was 2 people there. I know for a fact they won't fuck with this album. I know it. I
purposefully haven't read any reviews. I don't know any other than you two. I haven't listened to anyone else's opinion on this album because purposefully. So like, what's the word like on Twitter?
He's getting rave reviews.
Well, someone tweeted, "Is it too early to call it a classic?"
Yeah, I saw that. That's sickening.
Ebro called it a classic.
He called this album a classic.
Ebro has tweeted he's got 4 classics in a row.
There you go.
Rosenberg said he hit.
The general consensus is
this is it.
He done did it.
Yeah. Okay. But classic, I don't think anyone's used that word. You can't, bro. It's been a day. But besides, you know, some Ebro and them lot like to jump, I guess, and it's just in their blood. But
plus, they're not necessarily shock jocks, but they say these sort of things to be in the conversation.
Yeah. But Cole gave me what I wanted, man. This is all I've wanted from Cole. The feel of the album, the way he went into the album. Everything that played a part of the album, he gave me everything I wanted. The lead up to it, the interlude, the climb back, everything. Like everything I kind of was waiting for, he gave to me. So I have no complaints, man. This is it. He did it.
No, it does sound like it's the beginning of the end, though.
So that kind of answers my next question. Where does he go from here?
Yeah, it does sound like it's the beginning of the end. I think that next one, I think it'll be his last one. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's very okay. I mean, a rapper's album span, more time, you're very lucky to get past like 7 or 8, really, if you're a rapper.
I think some of the rapping on this album reminded me that he is probably lyrically top 50
all time.
Yeah, I got because I was hesitant at putting him in there.
It reminded me
top 50, top 60 for sure.
I definitely won't argue that.
And it reminded me where he stood in his era as well.
Just rhyming, not accomplishments. Because accomplishments, he's a bit higher.
Yeah, just bars.
Just bars only. It reminded me where he stands in his climate as well.
Yeah, because he was talking to me on some of them tunes for sure.
He was at you.
Yeah, for 100%. And I was like, that's fine. I don't mind. But
he was at him and applying pressure, wasn't he?
He definitely was applying. What that minute and a half? That was, bro.
He was talking to you when you were doubting him about what he do. So he actually go do what he had to do to show you that he do what he do. He just said do a lot.
That was actually quite good.
He said do a lot. I noticed that.
That was quite good.
Yeah.
No, I mean, bruv, I thought this album was going to be mid. I'm not going to front. I expected it to not be anything that would move me. And there was even a part of me that didn't even want to like it.
And see, this is what I wanted. This is what I was.
So what does that make you?
It just makes me someone that enjoys.
So if you don't want to like an album, what are you?
No.
I just enjoy getting onto people.
No, if you don't want to like an album,
no, I didn't want to like it because I knew that if I didn't like it, I'd have way more like vim and fire for both of you in it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, so it would just be way more fun.
I mean, I low-key wanted the vim, to be fair.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. As soon as I heard the album, I was prepared to fight today. I was prepared to scrap because I was like, if Peter comes to me and said this album ain't it, bro, you're bugging.
Fam, it's mad because when my boy first played it, I was like, all right, cool. And then he was like, what? That's it?
Yeah, don't do that. Because no, I genuinely thought he was going to come. This is what I thought, yeah? Might as well say it. I thought Pete was going to come and be like, yeah, the album was the album. I genuinely thought he was going to be like,
I thought he was going to say it's horrible. So.
But I've just proved to you, then, man, that I can't be a hater then.
No.
and I'm truthful.
I mean, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've got no issues with like.
But then I'm not a stan because I've said these albums. He's got 2 albums that are one's whack and one's meh.
No, all right. Stan's probably not the right word, but
I'm
you're
a
big.
fan.
You're
I'm a
big.
J.
You're a
Cole
big
fan.
Cole
Yeah, I'm
fan.
a
Yeah,
Cole
you're a big
fan,
Cole
but
fan, man. Do you
At the
know
same
what
time, I can admit where
I mean?
the lapses are. But
Yeah.
this generally gave me the reason why I liked it so much is that mixtape thing.
I still want him to like use way more variety of producers, though, man. I feel like he needs to stay away from Team
I think he pulls those producers into his world, but they make his world just a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, because on most of the tracks, like just reading the credits and that, he has some sort of co-production. So he touches it even once they've produced the base of the songs. But I still would like to see him like mess with a Madlib or an Alchemist, or whomever else, maybe a Static Selector, like, or I don't know, Primo, just Havoc. Do you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
like,
that'd be good.
Just anyone.
yeah, man, just maybe Derringer, just like some more people. Do you know what I mean? Because like even when he has branched out, it's still like it's like a secret society. There's not many producers that he's allowing in that bubble.
Well, now that he's kind of branched out production-wise on this album, maybe the Fall Off will be even more ambitious in that respect. And obviously now we look forward to that while we take in this album. So Cole, if you're listening,
You
done a good job.
You done did it.
You've done a good job. Keep it up. And if the Fall Off is your last album, then you've at least given us one good album over the last 5-year stretch to see us through. So long may it continue into the last one.
I feel like Cole and Drake are dropping. I mean, Kendrick and Drake are dropping this year, man.
Drake definitely is.
I think Drake's album with him. You know what? Let me chill.
Certified Lover Boy.
It's gonna be
And Kendrick, I hope so.
Yeah,
I think Kendrick's gonna drop this year.
Yeah,
I think that was my hot take. Remember when?
Yeah,
But
I think so, man.
I mean, you're a third of the way there, so. And Drake definitely is dropping.
Drake's definitely dropping. Certified.
That home wrecker. But,
Just
yeah.
like him ruining relations after 8 years, but we move. But
Yeah, for context audience, Drake basically invited a couple over to his studio sessions for allegedly. Invited this couple to the studio sessions for Certified Lover Boy. One thing led to another. This couple have been together for 8 years. They are now no longer together because the man in the relationship suggested that Drake stole his girl. And it's a bit mad.
so where does Cole go from here?
Retirement.
No, as in, what's the next step? This next album, does he stay on the same page or?
I think it'll be a lot more ambitious, especially if he, in his heart, thinks this is going to be the last one. What that looks like and what that's going to sound like, I don't know. But I imagine there's going to be a couple concepts in there because it is the Fall Off. So I imagine that's going to be kind of conceptual. But I genuinely don't know, man. I think this album, as good as it is, it has thrown a spanner in the works as far as, obviously, it's not a typical Cole album where he produces everything. It's just him and everything like that. So with this new album, it's hard to tell what's going to happen on the next one. But I kind of welcome it, that unpredictability.
Yeah. I want him to kind of like just like pull back on the double time flows.
Yeah.
And the auto-tune.
Yeah, the auto tune.
Stay away.
Yeah, and yeah, then we'll be all right.
What about you, Mo?
Yeah, same thing you lot said. I just kind of want the main thing with me and Cole is kind of look what you're capable of when you let other people kind of do their job. You don't need to do so much because I watched the documentary lead up to this because I haven't watched the KLD documentary or the For Your Eyes Only, whichever one he done, but I watched it for this one just because of the podcast. And then even the way he went into this, he stripped everything back. He went back to New York. He stayed at the crib, Muhammad's crib he used to stay at before. He stripped it all back. All he done was just bar heavy. That's all he done. Just wrote, go to the studio, wrote, go to the studio. He didn't really. Whereas the last few albums, I think he was just in the studio doing the production, then going to the booth, doing the production, then going to the booth. This one, he stripped it all back and allowed help. And the minute you allow help, bro, look what you're capable of. Imagine Kendrick just producing every single song and then also barring. You're not
But
Superman.
we're saying all this, but we're not saying that you can't be self-reliant in that respect. It's just being self-reliant for Cole hasn't necessarily worked for our tastes. But you can definitely be, if anything, if you are a rapper that can produce beats like that, especially on this album, like you're ahead of the game, really and truly. Like you got one up on everybody else.
Yeah, salute to you, but just kind of have, like you said,
But just know when to pull. Just know when to pull back.
Yeah. When it's
As his retirement is seeming like it's pending, is there any other features or collaborations that you want him to do before it's over?
I want an official Nas one.
Another J feature, that'd be good.
Yeah, I hate
just
it.
to check in.
I hate a nice watch.
Another Kendrick, obviously.
I want a Nas one, an official one.
Wouldn't mind Drake. And I think I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Any UK artist?
No,
Nah,
absolutely not.
Fair enough.
Maybe Sims, but
that'd be interesting.
that would be interesting.
I would want him and Nas just because of what Nas Dan gave me when Nas replied. Got goosebumps the first time I heard that. So if they officially had a song together, it would have been mad. But
Yeah, I don't think he needs a lot of features
Yeah,
to
nah.
accentuate something. I think
he's
with
an
this
artist that
album,
don't need it.
there were just enough. So on the next one, if there's like 5 or 6, calm.
Yeah, because even if when I'm looking back at his career now, he's rhymed with pretty much like most of the legends or people that are going to be considered legends. Like, do you know what I mean? So,
And he had a whole year and a half when he featured on all the new artists' songs as well.
Yeah.
Then he had that before mixtape era. He was with Common. He's got a song. Jay Leck, I think he's got a song with as well. He's been
around.
Jay-Z, sorry. So he's been around. So I guess now he could just kind of take that time to chill. I'm glad. I love the fact that he did his whole album by himself. In terms of there was no features. I'm glad he actually just gave us features this time.
yeah.
Like it was refreshing.
Yeah, you need to freshen that up.
Yeah, because he had 3 albums in a Forest Hills, KOD, and For Your Eyes Only never had features.
I'm platinum.
Salute to him, but it's a new. You need it sometimes.
100%. Well, shout out Cole, man.
He done did it.
he
In the
done
words
did
of
it.
Peter.
Looking forward to hearing what's next, and looking forward to see if there's a stream for this Rwandan basketball team that he's playing for. I'd love to watch him
it's
play.
tomorrow.
I've never actually watched him play.
He's playing tomorrow.
Okay, so by the time this goes out, it would have been and gone. So
It's on YouTube.
hopefully you've done well.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Hopefully it's on YouTube. He's facing Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, I hope we spank him.
So you lot played America once and they got into your ass, bruv.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, true.
I remember Michael Blackson saying that Andre Iguodala is a traitor. But yeah, we move. Anyway,
Salute to
guys.
Cole. Gave me what I wanted, bro.
For real.
Hey, man.
All right, cool.
It was tough being a Cole fan up until this album, you know. Can't lie to you. It was tough.
Well, for you.
I mean,
Yeah,
listen,
man.
he's still got improvements to make, man.
Hey, but see, why can't you let it go?
No, because I've
This
given
one,
it.
no,
Listen,
why
no.
can't it?
I've been trying to move on for
But
time.
this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like the world is like we come from a world of balance, innit?
Yeah.
There's yin, there's yang, there's pros, there's cons, there's positive, there's negatives.
So,
I'm
yeah,
giving him
yeah.
praise. I've got to give him critique and hate.
So what's the critique? What's the critique?
Double time flow, bruv.
Why are you so angry?
That's it.
I'm with that, to be fair.
You know what I
So,
mean?
yeah, we move.
That's all.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic. So what we want to do now is basically talk about an institution in hip-hop that has been around pretty much since the beginning, as a way of showing the wave as far as the next big things in the game, a way for people to get their music out, to get their bars out. We're talking about the mixtape. Now, the mixtape has been around for a while, and over its 30+ year lifespan, the definition of what it is and what it can mean and what it can be has changed over time, especially with the birth of the digital age. So now I guess what we want to talk about now is how important the mixtape still is in the modern day. There are a lot of different views as to why they are and why they aren't, which we're going to get into now. So, boys, in 2021, do we think that the rap mixtape is as important now as it was back in the day?
That's a good question, bro. Yeah, I don't think it will never not be important, man. Because even though it's seeming as though more artists are doing things independently, there's still those artists that are signed to majors that are having issues with those labels. So when you're going through the process of like putting together an album, and an instance of J. Cole where his first album took time to come out because the label felt like he didn't have a single, that's still something that happens today, innit? So whilst you're politicking with the labels and that, the mixtape allows you to kind of still hone your craft a bit and express yourself and feed your fans. So with that being said, I don't think mixtapes will never not be necessary, because you still need to kind of like perfect shit whilst you're still trying to sort out your album and that. And even if you are an artist that's got albums out and shit, like you can still just drop a mixtape that maybe isn't as commercial as your label release, and you can still kind of feed a certain core of your audience that look for a certain thing from you that may not appear on the album. So yeah, I would say they're important. I think it's interesting how like mixtapes have developed though, and how they've changed.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, I feel like mixtapes nowadays, as much as on one side they can be that medium through which rappers can practice, they can hone their skills and stuff, it's also a way for people to just get music out, just to show their powers, even if it's not necessarily on a practice thing. I think nowadays, especially on a label perspective, mixtapes are getting released more commercially, and that's just a way to feed the fans while they prep for the actual full-length album. And that mixtape at that time will be like, this is what I'm on. It won't necessarily be, well, if you're like a lyrical rapper, then it means something different. But if you're more of a commercial rapper who doesn't necessarily take rapping as seriously, maybe you came up the internet age, you had one song, you blew up, you signed a label and stuff. The mixtape is just a way, or even to a lesser extent, the EP is a way for you to just showcase, all right, this is my first bit of music. Here you are. Not necessarily on a practice thing. So the definitions of mixtapes and what they can do and who they can serve have definitely changed. I agree with you. They're always going to be important to that end because it all leads up to something bigger. And the mixtapes, as well produced as they are now, as much as they may sound like albums now, if it's still being referred to as a mixtape, then it's a stepping stone to a bigger thing. So that's always going to be important, and that's always going to be necessary, especially as we have waves and waves of new rappers coming through that maybe might not necessarily have access to labels and stuff, and the only thing they can do is drop a mixtape, put on that piff and grow their audience that way. So for that reason alone, they're always going to be very, very important.
Do you think EPs are replacing the mixtape?
In a sense, yeah. I think it's a difficult one because EPs have been around for as long as mixtapes have. I think with EPs, there's less work to be done because obviously an EP can only be like 20 minutes in length, whatever, how many tracks it is. So in a sense, from a commercial standpoint, 100%. But I also think it depends on the rapper. If you're more of a commercial rapper, if you're more of a mainstream rapper, the EP is definitely more of the route that you're going to go down rather than a mixtape. Whereas if you're more underground, you're going to try and put out as much music as you can and build an audience that way. Whereas if you're doing an EP, you're drip feeding. You're drip feeding the streets and prepping them for something bigger.
I don't think...
Sorry, no, Mo, go on, bro.
No, I was just going to say I agree with you guys. I don't think mixtape's ever going to die just because of what you get from it. Like you said, if there's an artist that's got issues with a record label and they need to tour, if they can't drop an album, you need a mixtape to just feed the streets. And I feel like the younger audience are always going to give the mixtape out. Like Little Baby and... Was it Their Baby and Gunna or Baby and... Who was it? Gunna and Little Baby.
Little Baby, yeah.
They had a bigger song that year, and that came from a mixtape. So that's never going to stop. And the way the younger audience are now, I feel like the younger artists as well, the way they collab is through mixtapes.
Yeah.
Dirk and Baby's got someone coming out in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Time. So it's never going to end. The question is it as important as it was when we was growing up? But I feel like it's changed because when we was growing up, it was the underground rappers and the bars that gave us mixtapes sometimes. Like a Joe Budden. Everything that I've listened to came from a mixtape. Whereas maybe it's now going towards where even established artists are still going to drop a mixtape regardless.
But you saw back in the day, like the mixtapes were a collection of songs that you weren't going to get anywhere else. So like Clue tapes,
Gangsta
DJ
Grills.
Envy tapes, Gangsta Grills. These are all tapes that, you've locked yourself in probably with a producer, or you've made a song and you've sent it to a DJ for them to put into an actual like compilation of tunes. And it feeds the streets that way and it kind of builds up your hype. So in that respect, the definition has changed, definitely.
Yeah, and even on the back of that, man, mixtapes are not mixtapes, bro. Not anymore.
No way, yeah.
So most of the mixtapes that we call mixtapes today are albums. Because mixtapes generally they didn't have original music. It was all somebody else's beats. Do you know what I mean? So like, with that being said, a lot of these artists that are dropping mixtapes today, they're dropping albums that just don't have a barcode on it. Do you know what I mean?
The lines are definitely getting blurred.
Yeah, for sure.
You could definitely just do something as polished as the J. Cole album and call it a mixtape just because you want to call it that.
And I think because it's not, I think it's because it's underground as well, you're more inclined to call it a mixtape. Because like, look at what Griselda do. All the music that they drop are not mixtapes, man. They're albums. But because it's underground, we're not seeing it as such. Do you know what I mean? So I think like if a label was to get involved more on that front, then things would probably change. I think how we even deep a mixtape will definitely change as well. But it's interesting though how like...
But do you think I don't mean to cut you off. Do you think it's changed because of the way people got away with using other people's music in the mixtape era? Do you think that became an issue with record labels and it's like, listen, we need to put a pause on people?
Laws have definitely tightened up.
You know what happened to...
Was it Lil Wayne No Ceilings when he done... What was his mixtape called when he done a few? Was it? I think it was
probably no ceilings.
Yeah, and he done a few no ceilings, like 3 or 4, I think it was, innit? He done a mixtape with like 3 or 4 when he just used other people's beats.
No, dedication.
Was it? Yeah, dedication.
Dedication
mixtape,
series,
yeah,
yeah.
with drama.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe the record labels at one point just said, "Hey, enough's enough. We need to put a clamp on."
Fam, but you know what happened with that? That's when DJ Drama got raided by the feds.
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the
You know
head.
what I mean? So that's that. I think that's where labels were kind of like, this
What
is
did he get raided in the feds for?
Basically, they were accusing him of they were trying to sanction him on the RICO law, which is the racketeering law, and that's what like John Gotti and them. That's what they were getting John Gotti and them man on, innit? But essentially, when they raided the studio, they raided all the equipment and like 8,000 CDs, which were essentially mixtapes. So I think that might have been an attempt
To kind of put up.
because I think it was sanctioned by the, I don't want to call them the music governing body, but the RAAA or RIAA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sanctioned by them, so they essentially given the sign off on it. And when I read that, I was kind of like, alright, cool. Then a lot of these labels were probably okay with this happening as well. They were.
So I don't mean to go. It was a RICO law and the RIAA.
Yeah, exactly. So
it says here change.
Yeah. So I think with that, the labels were probably kind of feeling like, these mixtapes is probably taken away from the albums and that, because more buzz is being drawn to these mixtapes than the albums, so the albums are then not selling. So then that's probably why like that was so influential, because then there was a period where nobody was doing mixtapes because they were shook.
It went dry for years.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
It went dry for years.
That was like the ringtone era.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the Social Boy
Oh,
and Mims and that.
06, 07.
Yeah, around them times. That's when like it was
quiet.
it was very quiet because people were shook. Do you know what I mean? So it's interesting how like when it doesn't benefit the labels, what gets done. Then when it benefits the labels, do you know what I mean?
No, because you hit the nail on the head. If it's original music, is it a mixtape? Like Rich Forever, is that a mixtape?
But I'm finding that
Game Stay Scheming and do you know what I mean? Stuff that's an album, bro.
I think and streaming, I think has changed shit, because when you stream a mixtape, I don't know if the labels still get a claim off that.
Well, if you're an artist and you're signed to a label and you've dropped a mixtape under that label, then they're getting whatever they get.
Because when Drake finally put So Far Gone on the streaming sites, was Universal getting P from that?
Oh, in that respect, I'd have to check because on Spotify, on streaming services, you can see the copyright.
Yeah,
and the copyright more often than not is the label.
Okay.
So
I'm looking at one now, just the Lil Baby and Gunna mixtape. It came from their record label.
Okay.
So that
Fine.
it says via.
Yeah, but that's still a subsidiary of whatever company is funding their label, right?
Yeah. It was Quality Control / Capital Records, innit?
Yeah, so Capital Records would have got P from that.
Got P from that, 100%.
Yeah.
And then Quality Control as well.
Because they've re-released it commercially, so they've put a lot of money in putting it into streaming, advertising it, marketing it in it.
That's why Nicki Minaj mixtape is now on Spotify.
And So Far Gone was on Young Money, Cash Money, and Cash Money is Universal.
Yeah.
So it all goes back to Universal and the big three: Warner, Sony, the big three. But yeah, you're right. I feel like
I might have contradicted myself, because I initially said that mixtapes will never not be important, but essentially those mixtapes are albums. So if that's the case, then the mixtape don't exist no more.
Yeah, but if they
call it, well, in maybe in its original form, it might not exist as much anymore. But as it's taken on a new definition, as far as you're a new artist, you need to put a bag of music together, but you don't want to call it an album, so you call it a mixtape. Have it sort of thing. So in that respect, they are still important as far as like a catapult. And obviously, even if the artist says it's a mixtape, but it doesn't sound like one, we're going to question that. But at the same time, if it's being marketed as such, then the commentary around it is going to be, okay, this is a great mixtape. This mixtape changed the game, sort of thing. So in that respect, if people are going to keep using the name, then they're still going to have relevance in a sense.
Why is the name stuck around though?
What, mixtape?
Yeah, because it elevated from mixtape to flipping mix CD. We graduated from tapes time ago, bro.
I think mixtape sounds sexier.
It just sounds better, bro. Like, you can't. That piff is always gonna have mixtape on top of it, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's never gonna.
Yeah, mixtape is definitely a.
So you can't say MixStream.
Ew.
That just sounds nasty.
What the fuck is a MixStream?
That sounds horrendous, bro.
But I agree. I mean,
have you listened to my MixStream? Keep that away from me.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, it is a cop out for some artists, because if you are getting a whole production team, you've created a whole bag of original music, and hawking it off as a mixtape. I don't want to say you're insulting our intelligence, but it is a cop out. But obviously, it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
And you obviously don't see that tape as important as what your album will be or what albums will be anyway. So,
but you say that, but why hasn't we found that there've been cases where mixtapes have been better than albums?
They got creative control. I think generally it's because you've got that creative freedom. I think it's when it's a mixtape, it's also maybe the production behind it, because we're so used to some of the production behind it. It tricks our mind to where we like the song more because we know where the productions come from, and it's also you're allowed to do what you want with it. So I think when an artist could do what they want, it's part of it. If it's original music, it's because they could do what they want. I think if it's songs that we've heard, it's because our mind has programmed us to already like the production. So when a Cole's got a Two-Face and it's coming from a pop song, I know where it's come from. Do you know what I mean? So it's already got me.
I think it's just less pressure from the artist perspective, because on a mixtape you can pretty much do what you want. If you're a rapper, you can rapidy rap. If you're singer, you can just sing, do whatever you want, sort of thing. Whereas on an album, there's an added pressure to kind of A, show creative growth, B, experiment with new sounds, whilst C, maintaining your integrity and your essence as an artist. So in that mix, it does get watered down. It's what we've been talking about with Cole. I feel like with him, he's definitely just tried to do a lot of things by himself and everything else has suffered. So I think with the pressure of having to make an album that is leaps and bounds a creative evolution from the mixtape, it can get to people. Yeah. It can get to people. And sometimes people just prefer, when the chains are off, you can pretty much do whatever you want and just just ball out sort of thing. Whereas with the album, it's a little bit more restrictive.
Yeah, so it kind of just begs the question as to why people sign to labels. Because if
you need the money behind you.
You
need the money behind you. You need that machine behind you.
I think that's changing nowadays, though.
Yeah, because
you can go direct to consumer now.
But you still need a machine behind you to get to the consumer.
Promotion and that, right?
Yeah, like, come on, we know plants.
Yeah, but not every independent artist is a plant. Not every independent artist is a plant.
I've got a question for you guys, though.
Go ahead.
What would be your top 3 mixtapes off the top of your head?
Oh, I went prep for that.
I know, let me just throw it out there.
Top 3.
I was never really a mixtape guy, though. That's the thing.
Oh, for real?
I never really listened to mixtapes like that.
Yeah, I was.
If you saw my Dat Piff collection, bro, it was stupid.
Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, I never really did Dat Piff or any of them, really, to be honest. I think now I'm catching up on some, but not too many.
If I was going to do my top 3 off the top of my head, I'd say Lil Wayne, Dedication 2, 50 Cent and G Unit, 50 Cent is the Future, and then that third one, I think just because of how much I enjoyed it when it dropped, Drake, So Far Gone.
Fair enough.
But Dedication 2 and So Far Gone are just proof of just how important mixtapes can still be for very different reasons. With Wayne, it showed that he is the best rapper alive and he is the best at what he's doing at that certain moment in time, something that might necessarily be as evident with your albums. Whereas with Drake, it introduced us to him.
Can I just say though, man, like Wayne was never the best rapper alive.
But you believed him when he said it, right?
I enjoyed him saying it, but I didn't ever.
He was the hottest rapper alive.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the best.
Just said. Oh, Jeezy's Chap or Die, amazing.
Oh, fair enough. I've got similar. I put Mood Music there too.
Mood Music too, Joe Budden.
Yeah. I put Mood Music too. I put Rich Forever there just because I think that fucking mixtape was amazing. Yeah. His Dedication will be there. Get Go Around.
Which
will
one?
Be there.
Which Dedication?
Dedication 2.
Okay.
Get Go Around will be there. Friday Night Lights.
What will be there?
Get Go Around.
Get a Quran. What 50?
Yeah.
That went in the tape.
What was the song called?
Power the Dollar.
It was in the tape.
That was actually an album.
That was meant to be an album.
Was that meant to be an album?
That was meant to be his debut album.
Well, look at you lot teaching me something. But that tape will be there for me. It's just the first song I remember from it. What else would I put there? That's about it, really.
And again, that's another good example with 50, because obviously he was getting ready to drop the album and then he got dropped and pretty much blacklisted. And how did he get back in the game?
Mixtapes.
Through mixtapes. Yeah. So that's another example if you wanted to say why mixtapes are still important, because again, seasoning, you get your name back out there and it prepares you for the main event of what was obviously his debut album as well. So yeah, man, they do serve a purpose. But again, as we've said, like the definition has changed. People are using it for different reasons. People are dropping them for different reasons. Does it carry the essence still with certain artists? No, but that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's just a means to their end of either prepping themselves or, just getting something out there to just feed people. Yeah. Especially in this day and age where everybody wants something new from their artists, even after they've dropped something like a couple of days after. So something like a mixtape or, to a lesser extent, again, an EP kind of fuels that, feeds them, sort of
And I
thing.
think because I could go on Spotify and go to Drift or Down or whatever, it's just changed it now, innit? I don't think if you go to a random someone that's younger than us, say, yo, do you know if this is a mixtape or this is an album? They won't be able to tell you.
Mhm.
Just because of the way we had to download mixtapes. You know what I mean?
I mean,
And now
mixtapes.
because it's on Spotify and a lot of, do you know what I mean? Because they're on Spotify and Tidal, it's also changed it. Because regardless, we're getting it, we're paying £10 a month. We're getting it. Whether it's an album or it's a mixtape, we're streaming it. So because we're streaming, I think that's also skewed the way people look at it to where if they can tell the difference anymore.
That's because all mixtapes are, in terms of production, they're just very high, very well produced. Generally, mixtapes. I think that's another thing that goes with mixtapes. You kind of associate with it being kind of raw, kind of grainy, kind of undergroundy, not quantized. You know what I mean? Not produced too well.
Just
and
take
stuff.
it, innit?
Yeah, exactly. So the aesthetic feel of mixtapes has definitely changed.
Yeah.
I don't know many people who are dropping those dusty mixtapes anymore. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're like producers and they're dropping beat tapes. So
How do we? What about us in the UK? How do we? Does mixtapes, do they have the same effect here as they do in the States? To you, man.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Can I answer my own question?
Yeah.
Please.
I would say yeah, because a lot of artists can't make albums here, man. I got to
Simply put.
keep it a buck, man. A lot of albums that have dropped here sound like mixtapes.
Yeah, the road rap era was
They were all tapes. They weren't
yeah,
albums.
they were
Do you know
tapes.
what I mean? The UK album conversation's a whole nother one.
I think we figured it out now.
We'll save that. We'll save that for another day.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think we're starting to figure it out now.
But I think nowadays anyway, we're in the same boat as the Americans, where everything is just so well produced that you can't really tell. I think, like I said, the road rap era, you could very much tell. With certain people that might necessarily have the access to, you know, a good enough studio or, you know, producers and stuff.
It's not even that though. I just feel, sorry to cut you off. I just feel like they either go too far left or too far right. It's not like a nice balance. There's a few that have done it. Sims, Kano, Dizzy, Skepta. They've Skepta asterisks. Some of them have managed to do it, but the others, they either go too far pop or there's not enough, like, it's too bar heavy, not enough like music, like song making, like shown on it, like proper records that, you know, outside of their comfort zone, and the others just can't do it.
Skepta Blacklisted is one of the best mixtapes this country's ever.
You said mixtapes though,
Produced.
so you didn't say the album.
I mean, he's got some all-time great albums.
Which ones are they? All time great.
Konnichiwa.
You think that's an all time
All-time
great
great?
album, bro?
Has to be.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'm gonna go back to that. I don't. When I listen to it, I don't remember feeling that way.
Fair. But I think it can make a case. It could definitely make a case.
Okay, but the point is, we don't have many in the UK.
We'll have to have that conversation, bro.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, write that down.
We'll save that for another day. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, sure.
So in closing, mixtapes are, while the definitions of mixtapes have changed, they still hold value in the game.
They always
Basically.
will, but it's been blurred between the two.
Yeah, it's a sticky one. I think the more time goes on, the more we'll deviate from the original definition of a mixtape. And people, it's just going to be a mixtape in name only.
Yeah,
But
because you're streaming it regardless.
yeah. But we'll see, we shall see. I don't really know how I feel about that now, but we shall see what happens. All right, guys, let's move on to the final topic, the fun topic for today. So what we're going to do is...
So yeah,
I told you Google the lyrics.
wait, do that again.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take it in turns.
So yeah, I sampled your voice. You was using it wrong. You made it a hot line. I made it a hot song.
Yes, we are just going to name songs, our favorite songs where it was a hot line somewhere else and it became a hot song. An artist made it a hot song, basically.
Yeah.
So, since Peter came up with the topic
You want to go first?
and so eloquently recited Jay's bars, please go first, bro.
All right, cool. Ironically, I've got a Jay-Z song.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a song called The Evils, produced by Primo from Jay-Z's first album, Reasonable Doubt. And on the chorus, he was Primo scratches in a line from Snoop Dogg's Murder Was the Case, where he says, "Dear God, I wonder, can you save me?" And then he scratches in another part to kind of match that from a Prodigy verse on an LL Cool J song, where he says, "Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. secret society, trying to keep their eye on me. So he just scratches that, and then that kind of completes the hook. So for me, I just thought that was dope. That was just dope how like you were able to kind of pull from other hip hop songs to make a hook for this track as well. And yeah, it just completed the tune. And when you hear about when you listen to what Jay's talking about on that song as well, yeah, it just felt very complete. So yeah, that's my pick.
Shout out Primo.
Word.
The God. I'll go next. So I've got a song by Mobb Deep featuring Nas, and it's called It's Mine. The hook of which is interpolated from Brandy and Monica's The Boy Is Mine. So The Boy Is Mine originally says, y'all need to give it up. Have you had enough? It's not hard to see.
Y'all need to give it up. Had about enough. The boy is mine.
Can you imagine?
I like the way you went because no one knows that.
No. But here's the thing. I was about to say the line, and then he goes and says da.
Can't lie. The way he went.
So if he had let me talk,
You would've
he
got
would
a whole
have
bar
been able to
Fam,
sing it.
Monica and Brandy were going in on that, bro.
They were going
You
in.
know they scrapped it for the award show.
I swear.
Yeah, so there's an award show. They performed that song live. Just quickly, there's an award show where they performed it live. Brandy looks like she's fuming, and the backstory is supposedly Monica snuffed her, and then they went into the back just before the. I think it was MTV Awards. So just before the show, Monica snuffed her. They went outside. If you see the anger in their face when they're performing the song,
Monica's on smoke, man.
yeah, she snuffed her.
You can tell though.
No,
innit?
she snuffed her. You could tell Brandy got punched up. You got to affirm that.
Yeah, Monica. I mean, Brandy ain't talking to Monica.
Come on, man. Monica's rolled, fam. Even though Brandy has caught a body.
Yeah. So
Allegedly, man. Actually, no, it's not even
she
alleged.
caught a body.
I can't even say that.
She's caught a body.
Monica bought.
No, Brandy's ran someone over and killed him. Brandy has a body in her.
Accidentally though, man. It weren't like premeditated.
I'm just saying, we're not gonna act like cool. Monica's punch people up. Brandy caught a body. Nah, this needs to get edited.
This guy, bro. Anywho, so back to my choice. So Mobb Deep and Nas' It's Mine samples or interpolates Brandy and Monica's The Boy Is Mine. Nas takes the hook from The Boy Is Mine, takes it to the hook of It's Mine, where he says, y'all need to give it up. We don't give a fuck. What's the other line? I'd have to think about it, but the life is mine, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's just a glorious tune, man. I feel like when I'm listening to that, I'm gonna flip it. I'm in a 6'4" Impala in Miami, rooftop down. You know what I mean? Diamond in the back. All, you know the rest. You know, with Scarface and Sosa and them, man. Just
Just what?
the plugs I met. You know what I mean? Yeah, just meeting my plugs, bro.
when I listen to that tune, yeah, I feel like exactly what the picture was when we were in Cuba, fam.
What, just in the
You know what
car?
I mean, you got the chest out and that. You know what I mean?
We should have played it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
It's
we
like,
You
yeah.
know that day was in a car and we was driving back. Obviously, he was. Do you remember that day was in the car and we was driving back and we was in the drop top?
Oh, yeah.
Should have played
Yeah.
it then. Obviously, bro,
That would have been dope. Yeah, that would have been dope.
some of
Yeah.
us are busy, innit? What can we say, fam? We're going yard on our ones.
This
Some
is
people are just chilling in the whole
This is
restaurant for like 16 hours. Looking like he pays tax in that bitch.
Acting like he actually liked the paella.
Acting like it's
shit.
the worst chicken I've ever had in my life.
Oh, that's funny, man.
So yeah, that's my choice. Shout out to Mobb Deep. Shout out to Nas. Shout out to Brandy and Monica as well. I hope they sort it out.
I doubt it.
I mean, you know,
No, they're cool today, I think.
Are they?
Yeah.
Have they done a verses together?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
like bare hella awkward.
we don't want our black queens to beef, man.
Word.
But someone gets punched out.
Hotep alert. Mohammed?
So I've got a UK couple of artists. I've got Skepta, Chipmunk, and the brother from D Block on their album.
Young ads, man.
Hey man, the brother from D
Said-
Block. Actually, no one. Why am I disrespecting Young Az? He's the one that matters from.
You like
Don't do that.
Yeah,
Don't do-
he's the one that even matters. It's the other one.
Don't do that
is
to
just-
LB.
Come
Shout
on,
out
fam.
LB.
What's his other? What's the LB what?
Dirt bike LB.
See the way you have to think about it.
I think it's dirt bike.
No, it is dirt bike. But you know the way you said Young Az with calmness.
Listen, he's not as vocal as Young ads. but-
Anyway, yeah, true. But anyway, yeah, it's their song Saint Tropez, where they used the MIA bar, Bonafide Hustler, Make It My Name, and they took that
From Paper Planes.
from Paper Planes, took that, flipped it, and made it epic. Well, not epic, but they made it good.
Yeah, man. I still think that tune should be used in all like London Fashion Week
Just forever.
events. Yeah, because it's very Fashion Week. When I listen to that tune, I feel like I'm at the front row. I'm with Anna Wintour. I'm with Skepta. I mean, Heady One might be in the cut somewhere. You know, maybe Kylie Jenner if she's early. And just watching Jordan Dunn just walk down the ramp.
And another song, you think you're chilling with Scarface.
Yeah.
God bless your imagination.
Listen, man, my imagination. It depends on the vibe. That vibe gives me that, bro.
I feel you.
And then afterwards, we're going to a party, you know, full of Miley Cyruses.
I don't want to be that party.
You know what I mean? I'm talking about actual women and coke as well. Yeah, man, just chilling. You know
Any
what I mean?
party Miley Cyrus is in, I'm going home.
I saw her perform once.
Did you
It
really?
was December. It was Christmas 2018.
Where was you to see Miley Cyrus?
So basically, it was a work party. I thought it was gonna be just a company party, but it turned out that we were just gate crashing a Sony party in Soho that Miley Cyrus was performing.
This was during when you was working for Thing, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
So
I remember the story.
Very random. It was ass, but you know we move.
I mean, it's Miley Cyrus, she got no ass, but she's ass.
I see what you did there.
Hey, man, I'm shooting.
I see what you did there.
Oh,
That sound effect would have been perfect.
that sound effect. We need to get better at this.
Yeah, we do, innit?
We actually need to get better
Yeah,
at
man.
this. There we
There we
go.
go.
Hey,
Brilliant.
man.
Did we have any others, lads?
No, that's it. I had Big L, Ebonics, where they I think they I can't remember what Nas song they sampled for. Actually, no, I think it was The World Is Yours. Vocabulary spills, I'm ill, speak with criminal
Yeah.
slang. Yeah. So they who produced
Or maybe it was
Ebonics?
ain't hard to tell.
I think it was Ron Browse that produced Ebonics. You know, of all people.
You would know that, sir.
But yeah, he so Big L, they for the song Ebonics, they sampled a bit of the Nas "The World Is Yours" song, and lines from that were used for the hook, along with Big L saying a bit of the hook too.
Cool. I also want to shout out a song by Loot Pack, which was Madlib, DJ Rome's, and another guy whose name I cannot remember. They dropped a tune called Hit You With That, which takes from Busta Rhymes' Still Shining from the Coming album. There's a bit in the Still Shining where Busta's like, hit you with that indie dope, pal. Watch you down. Which Loot Pack take from. Just a dope track. So shout out to Loot Pack. Calm. Well, if there's nothing else, actually no, I want to shout out a couple people. I want to shout out Little Sims because she has dropped a couple of dope tunes. One called Introvert and one called Woman, which are from her upcoming album. Sometimes I Might Be Introvert, which is out on the 3rd of September.
Let's get into album season.
Get into album season. So shout out to Sims for that. I think she directed one of the videos as well, and it was really, really dope. Mira May was in it, Jordan Dunn was in it, and a couple others as well. So it was dope. I also want to shout Isaiah Rashad as well. He's finally out of hibernation. He dropped a tune called Laywachar with Duke Juice. Probably from an upcoming album, but nothing too concrete about that just yet. But it's a bop and a half. So, you know, shout out to people coming out of hibernation and dropping dope music.
Salute to Isaiah Rashad.
For sure. And obviously you guys have your shout out. So anyone you want to shout out before we take it out?
Cleo Soul. You've got to keep it consistent. It's been a while since we recorded. You
Very
guys,
true.
what you guys thought I forgot?
Nah.
No.
I knew you were going to be consistent
The
with
group
it,
chat. The group
You
chat. The
mentioned it
group
once a day
chat.
in the group chat.
The group chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Big up Cleo Soul.
Cleo Soul
all.
is on that woman track with Little Sims, and she's singing on that.
Yeah,
shit.
no, I'm purposefully not listening to.
Are you waiting for the album
yeah,
as well?
of course. Yeah,
You'll fall in love with her all over again.
yeah.
And I know it's taking for you a lot to not listen to it. So salute
Yeah,
to
no,
you.
I really wanted
Yeah,
to
that's
because
what I'm
I
saying,
love
salute
Sims
to you.
too.
Yeah,
I
salute
really
to you.
like Sims, man. So yeah, looking forward to it. But yeah, no, that's all.
Mohammed?
I don't have no shout outs, just Free Palestine. Consistent with my message.
I hear that.
I'm glad to be back though, man. This was a good session.
I've loved it.
Yeah,
bro.
man.
I can't
It's
lie
nice to be back, man. It's been a minute. So
100%. Good to see you guys. Also, I think it's a good idea for our fun topic choices to make them our next tracks of the week. So the people them know what they sound like.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. That
So
works.
let's do that. So
Absolutely
next
works.
week you'll get that from us guys. So yeah, hope you look forward to that. Thank you for listening.
And we're back.
We're definitely back. Hopefully there won't be any other delays. We'll be back for the
God willing.
for the foreseeable. You know what I mean?
man.
God willing.
So yeah, until then, you know, follow us on all socials. We are at rhymesdimespod on Instagram. We are at RLDpod on Twitter.
They could go to hell.
Yeah, they suspended our old account for some reason. Copyright rubbish. But, you know, it is what it is. Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on YouTube. Spread the words, you know, comment, like, all that good stuff. And yeah, you'll hear from us again in 2 weeks' time.
Can't wait.
And until then, we will bid you adieu. So from all of us, take care, stay safe, and peace.
Let's rock.
God is love
I
God is
knew
good.
it. I knew it.
God
I
is
knew
good
it.
all the time.
all the time.
God is good.